Well, welcome to day 16 of our 40-day prayer challenge. Today's a special day. I'm getting ready to actually head out of town for a big event, but today was the release of the book Gradually, Then Suddenly. Mark gifted me a copy of this while we were having dinner last week, and it was just so special. I knew it wouldn't release until this Tuesday, and we were there Thursday night, and I thought, there might be a chance he's got a copy, and he did. Even signed it for me, which is amazing. I was very excited when I heard the concept of this book. Here's the subtitle: How to Dream Bigger, Decide Better, and Leave a Lasting Legacy. In fact, if I open it up in the prologue, kind of gives you where it came from. He had mentioned this at dinner on Thursday, and I thought it was pretty unique. Playing the long game. How did you go bankrupt? That's the question posed by Ernest Hemingway in his 1926 novel, The Sun Also Rises. The rather infamous reply: 2 ways, gradually, then suddenly. That's how you go bankrupt, and that's also how you get out of debt. That's how you start a business, write a book, or run a marathon, and 1,000 other things. Gradually, then suddenly. I can't wait for this read. But came out today. I'd get your hands on a copy of this, but that's not the book we are in currently. We are in Draw the Circle, our 40-day prayer challenge. And today's chapter was titled, Lord, Surprise Me. And it centered around a story of NCC being gifted a property from a church who was closing their doors. And it all started with a neighbor at a vacation home coming over, which then led to a gifted book, which then found its way in somebody else's hands, which then that pastor called Mark Batterson to let him know that they would like to give them the gift of a building. And that was coming off a prayer. Lord, surprise us. A prayer that Mark said last week that they had been praying over and over and over again. And where they started as a church, he never would have guessed 29 years ago. That's where they would be today, which if you watch my takeaway video, long obedience in the same direction is so worth it. I actually love the line, God has surprised me so many times that I know that I'm no longer surprised by his surprises. I actually feel the same way. I often have a plan worked out, and I know exactly what I want to do, when I want to do it, and here comes a surprise. And it leads down a road that's even better than I could have planned in the first place. In fact, me sitting right here in this office, in this chair, talking to you, working with leaders around the country was a surprise. I was a restaurant owner. I had picked a path. I had decided exactly where I wanted to go pre-COVID. I knew exactly what I wanted to have. I had it all drawn out, and I felt like I was operating in purpose. But would I trade it for this right here? No, this is what I was born to do. I just never knew how to get into what I am doing now. I never knew how to make the jump. But God surprises us as he leads us through different seasons. Something I want you to know is leadership is seasonal. You're in a certain season to do a certain thing, and then you'll be in the next season. And that next season often comes with a surprise. Here's what helps me though. I often like to reflect on times when God has surprised me in the past, when he has surprised me by redirecting my path, and that it worked out for the better. I like to remind myself of those moments because when you're taking a new route on a journey, it can feel a little scary. It can feel like you're lost or you might not know where to go. But I often say to myself, I've been here before. I've been here before, and where he is leading is better than anywhere else I could take myself. So I want you to think about that. Okay, I want to think about, where are you going? When's the last time you were surprised? When's the last time maybe you felt that little bit of uncertainty? And then remind yourself that where you're going is where you're supposed to be. I'll see you tomorrow.